Good morning. My name is J.D. Henry. I wrote Amazon #1 bestseller, The Key to Understanding Credit. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I wrote this book. At the age of 21 years old, I managed a local department store here in Huntsville, Texas. I'm a native of Huntsville, Texas, Walker County, and one of our main jobs as the manager for the store was to collect debt, set up credit card accounts and stuff like that. So I got to see early on how important credit was, because there were times that people got behind on their bills and couldn't pay, had slow pays, and I had to collect money from them, and that was an unpleasant thing to do. And then at the age of 28, I went to work for a local Ford store here as well, and then it opened and expanded because we had Ford Motor Credit and other financial institutions that we used, and even got to see how more important people's credit was, because people got turned down. They couldn't buy, or they were rated that they had to pay more than 20% down, and a lot of times they didn't have the 20%, and a lot of times Ford Motor Company would put them in a car that they didn't want to buy, but that was what they could really afford due to their credit. But anyway, as you'll see, my book here is green and white. Well, green represents money, and all credit is borrowing money through an institution like a bank, a credit union, credit cards, or even a friend. Of course, borrowing money through institutions, you have to pay interest, and that's the way they make money, is through their interests and fees. But borrowing money from a friend is not wise. I can use an examples at one time that I loaned money to a friend, $100, and then that was on a Monday, and on Friday they were going to pay me back. Well, Friday came, they did what they said they would do, because you've got a certain time period to pay your credit back, and they paid me my $100 back. I didn't charge them a fee, but that's a real good example of good credit. They promised to do what they said that they would do. That's what credit is borrowing money over a specific time, paying it back when they said you were going to pay it back. What if the friend didn't pay you back on Friday? What if you called them, you texted them, you tried every way to get in touch with them, and you were unavailable? They couldn't find them. You couldn't find them. They were dodging your calls, dodging your texts. Well, that's an example of bad credit. And all that is, that's not good. That's your reputation, and it'll follow you all through your life, because nobody else has your Social Security card. Nobody else has your same driver's license. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Credit is so important that it's like your DNA. It's like your blood. In other words, it's in your system. They follow you all the time, and it is your credit. I had people over a lifetime say, well, that's not my credit. But, you know, the thing about this book, it's a wonderful book that opened my eyes to write a book to help people. And what better investment than to invest in yourself? And that's what this book is about. You know, the #1 destroyer of relationships is loaning money to people. And you don't loan money. That's why we have banks. That's why they have pawn shops. That's why they have card title to loan. Because if you loan money to your friends or your loved ones, a lot of times they don't pay it back. And that's not good. If they can't go to one of those institutions I just named off, why would you loan them money? And, you know, I look at it, if I'm going to give them money, I have given it to them. I'm not loaning it to them, because if they don't pay it back, well, then you don't expect anything any different. In other words, you'll still keep them as a friend if you don't loan them money. But the wonderful thing about this little book, dynamite comes in small packages, and this little book has 85 pages in it that goes over just wonderful things in life. And if you'll allow me, I'll just name off some stuff I'll be going over this year with you the next few weeks, and just telling you about what all the book highlights to save you from. But just look at this little picture right here. Smiley face, great credit. Upside down frown, bad credit. And it's so simple. Credit is so simple. All it is about making the right choices, and people miss it in life. That's why it's so simple. And the things that I'll be going over with you will be just simple stuff, like #1, the explanation of credit. What is credit? How does it work? How do credit cards work? Explanation of a monthly budget, getting on a monthly budget, and how to manage your money. Talking about interest rates, how do interest rates work on credit cards, especially because credit card interest rates will eat you up. They're 30+% depending on what credit card that you're using. A difference between a want and a need. Also, the explanation of your credit bureau, how your credit bureaus work and the scores on the credit bureaus. What is identity theft? How to avoid identity theft. The explanation of how do I find out my credit score and how does my credit score works. What is the difference between a credit card convenience check and also credit card balance transfer. When should I open a checking account, at what age, and how much to put in it, how to manage it. The same way with the savings account and a rainy day fund account. What is a debit card? How do I become a qualified buyer, and what is a qualified buyer? Examples of my real life stories, take it from me. All kinds of credit cards are everywhere, and how to beat the system on credit, how to make it work for you and have a tremendous credit score that you can buy anything that you want to buy and never be turned down for credit again. And all it is your reputation. Your reputation follows you. And if you have a low credit score, how do you work on to bring up that credit score? What do you do to do that? Okay. Well, like I said earlier, credit is promising to pay money back over a specific time. You've got to invest in yourself. If you don't take care of you, who is? And like I said earlier, all life is about choices. So you want to get on a monthly budget. You want to know where all your money's going, how you're spending your money, tracking every nickel that you're spending. That way you won't get to the end of the month or the end of the week and not have enough money. It's a sad feeling that your utilities are due and you can't pay them. So you write down your goals on how much money you're going to save each month, how much money is coming in that you're making, how much money is going out, and listing everything, anywhere from a cup of coffee to eating out to everything that you spend money on, for gasoline, for electricity, for clothes, anything that you spend money on, you want to track it, because if you don't know where your money's going, who does? So that's so important, and that way you won't be broke. Because what if you need a new battery for your car? Batteries today on cars, depending on if it's an electric vehicle or a diesel vehicle, they run anywhere from $150 to $8,000. So, and that's tremendous. So you need to have a rainy day fund. What is a rainy day fund? You are saving money to put aside for an emergency, and they're going to happen. That's just life. Life happens. You wake up, your car won't start one day. You need a battery. It's a very sick feeling if you don't have the money and you're overmaxed on your credit cards. That's not good. And I'll show you how to keep from getting overmaxed on your credit cards, how to take care of your money, how to pay your bills on time, how to save money, how to get on automatic payment when you can with utility companies and stuff like that, automatic bill pay, for you will not miss paying stuff on time. And these banks and credit card companies charge you fees for being late. They charge you high interest rates. And this little book here will save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over a lifetime. But you have to listen to what I say and practice the book. You practice it. It's just like learning your ABCs. It's repetitive. Or going to church, or I go to church quite often, and my pastor, he preaches through the year sometimes the same sermon. So he's telling me what he's already told me, but I know that. That's how it's stuck in my head. That's how I learned it. Well, that's the same way with this, The Key to Understanding Credit by J.D. Henry, because it's repetitious. You've got to know, and it's such an easy read. I wrote it for common sense. That way you could read it. A 10th grader could read it. A 10-year-old could read it. I've sold a lot of these books to people that are 50, 60 years old, and they had wished they had the book earlier. They've told me that. Said, man, I wrecked my life. I got credit cards. I didn't know what I was doing, and nobody taught me. Well, this is what this book is about, to keep you from getting in a financial wreck. The number one destroyer, like I said earlier, is in relationship is financials, whether it be with friends and relatives or marriages. It destroys marriages if you have two people that are not working together financially. So you need to have financial goals, sound your goals, and have a budget, knowing where every nickel is going and how it's being spent, where it's going, and having the right credit cards that will pay you money, pay you travel miles, pay you 3%, 5%, depending on where you're using them, whether it be grocery stores or gas. And that way you're not only tracking your money, but every month you have a statement from the credit card companies of where you're spending it, where is it going, and all that. And be careful about spending money on sales. Yes, we all like sales. Sales are great, but do you need this item that you're buying? You know, there's a difference between a want and a need. A need is stuff that's basic where you have to live. In other words, I do need clothing, I do need shelter, I do need a car, I do need food. That's your need. You do need a cell phone to keep up with people, but do I want the latest and greatest cell phone that's gonna cost me $600 more? No, not necessarily. You don't. That's a want. You don't need that. See, that's extra money you didn't need. Do I need higher price clothes instead of driving a let's say a $8,000 car? I can leave Huntsville, Texas today in an $8,000 car and meet you in New York City at a certain time, and you can leave Huntsville, Texas in a Maserati at the same time, and we'll both get there. Well, depending on what you can afford and what your payments are, if you have payments, you want to take care of your money. People have gone broke by buying stuff on sale because they buy stuff and people have bought it and they never use it. So you have to be careful on managing your money, knowing where it's going, like I said earlier, just watching stuff and just taking care of every cent and every nickel and then tracking it. I thank you for watching today. It's been a privilege and an honor to come to you at your business and homes, and stay tuned for our next episode. The Key to Understanding Credit by J.D. Henry will be coming out shortly, and we'll be talking about everything and anything, and I'll have people come on that will be talking about stocks, we'll be talking about bonds, we'll be talking about mortgages and what the interest rates are currently doing. So just stay tuned. Appreciate you.